Welcome back, everybody. In today's review we're going to be covering a couple different budget lights. These lights are from mountanelectronics.com. They were nice enough to send them out for testing and review. The owner actually contacted me and said, "You won't believe how great these lights are for the price." So I took them up on a challenge. This one here we're going to call the little guy. This one here we're going to call the big one. Just because one thing I want to point out before we get into the rest of the video is these lights are sort of built to user specs by Mountain Electronics. So depending on what you want, the output you want, the different modes that you want, the type of lens tint that you want, they build it to your specs. So I don't really want to put up model numbers and all that jazz because you may want something different. I'm going to just point out my experience with these lights, what I think of them, and of course do some beam shots that I know you guys are all waiting for. So without further ado, we'll get into that. Again, this one here is going to be called the big guy, this one the little guy, and the light that we're going to be using to compare it to is the Surefire 6PX Tactical. Very, very good light. Good output on this light as well, and a good tint, so you guys can be able to see how these two lights compare to something that's a little bit more widely known. So without further ado, let's step outside and check it out.
Here you see the 6PX Tactical. You can see it has a good balance between throw and flood. That tree out there on the far end is about 35 to 40 meters away, just to give you an idea of what you're looking at. And the corner of my house here is right about 20 meters away. Now to compare that, here is what you see from that little guy that we just took a look at inside. Little light, as you can see, a lot of output. Nice floody beam, but still has some pretty good throw out there at the distance. You can see the hotspot's not quite as hot as with the 6PX, but definitely nice floody overall projection of light. And here's the larger of the two that we just looked at. You can see there is kind of an edge there due to the reflector shape, but nice bright white hotspot on the house and even out there on that tree a little further out. And here's the 6PX Tactical, just to kind of give you an idea close up of just how those compare. This one certainly is a lot brighter, but it does have a more defined edge as well due to the reflector shape.
Let's get into the big guy first. It uses a Cree XM-L2 U2 A1 emitter, powered by a single 18650 battery. The body of the light itself is an aluminum 6061 T6 aluminum body, so very durable stuff. It will resist corrosion well as the other properties of the 6061 aluminum. One thing I should point out there is the knurling in the middle here. It's very smooth, I guess you could say. Me personally, I do prefer a little bit more of an aggressive texture, but I know some folks do prefer the smooth. Just kind of depends on what you want. The tail cap there is recessed, so it is tail cap standable. And up here on the front, the lens is a glass lens. On the inside there, for where we have our 18650 battery, it does have reverse polarity protection, so that way if you put your battery in wrong, you're not going to fry the light, which is always nice. While we have it apart, you should note it does have a spring here on the tail cap. The threads do come pre-lubricated when you order it, and it is O-ring sealed both here at the tail and up front. Here we have it all disassembled. You can take a good look there at the emitter. One thing I didn't point out is the lumen rating of this, depending on which option you go with, and there are a ton of different options on there. It's either going to get 1050 to 1125 lumens on high, so it's definitely putting out a good bit of output, as you can see there. And one thing I didn't mention as well is if you take a look there in the lens, that green sort of outer layer in there, see if I can get it to show on camera, that's actually a glow in the dark coating around the outside, so that way if you have your light on, you turn it off in the dark and you can't see it, you can actually see the glow in the dark ring. It's visible from the outside as you look at the light. And here's the little guy, the EDC type light. As you can see across the board, it does have knurling, not just in the center like a lot of lights, but also on the tail cap and on the head. Tail cap is recessed, so you can tail stand it, and it does have loops for lanyards for those of you guys that do like that. Removing the tail cap to replace the battery, it does run on one 18650 battery as well. You'll note that it is double O-ring sealed, and it's also pre-lubricated as it comes when you order it, so you don't have to actually lubricate it yourself. It's lubricated on both the front and the back with the O-rings on there as well. Take a look there at the circuitry of it, and it is powered by 3 XPG2 emitters. Kind of hesitate to put out the lumens on there because there's just so many options when you guys are ordering these lights from Mountain Electronics that you can choose from. So there's going to be a pretty wide range. I believe the high-end estimate is 1200 lumens, which doesn't really seem that out of the realm of possibility if you guys just took a look there at the output we were getting outside. It's extremely, extremely impressive from this little light. Again, I didn't want to get into too many details on the lights just because there are so many different configurations for both of them. So again, go check the website out below, see what they have there, and see which one you think you'd prefer. But no doubt about it, they're good hosts. Mountain Electronics builds it for a good price. This one here comes to market right at $30, and the amount of output you get out of this light for $30 is extremely impressive, especially when you think that you can configure the interface how you want to. So for 30 bucks, tough to beat that one. This one here for the size, excellent. You guys saw that output is extremely impressive outside, and when you're using it in your garage or basically picking stuff up in the dark, it does a great job, and you easily can just slip it in your pocket and nobody will know it's there, and probably you won't even know it's there, especially for the weight that it comes in at. But if you guys have any questions about these lights, anything else I discuss here on the channel, as always, you can post below in the comments section. You can also post over at my Facebook page. But thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and hope to see you guys in the next video.